Good afternoon. We're excited you guys are here. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Whit Stevens Nature Center. Hey, George. I can't think of a better way to celebrate Arkansas's great outdoors than in a space like this, a space that is dedicated to preserving and promoting the natural state. I'd like to start by recognizing the outgoing chairman of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, my good friend, Stan Jones. Where are you, Stan? Stan has done an absolutely amazing job leading our state, and we are so thankful for all of your hard work. And I'd also like to congratulate our incoming chairman, J.D. Neely, who I know is going to do a phenomenal job, and we cannot wait to work with you to help continue to grow our state's outdoor economy and all things Arkansas Game and Fish. Congratulations, J.D. Also excited to be joined by several other good friends, Commissioner Bill Jones, Philip Tappan, Anne Marie Doremus, Rob Finley, Brandon Adams, and Dr. Michelle Evans-White. Thank you for all of the work that each of you do and your commitment to our incredible state. Thank y'all. I'd also like to thank Director Austin Booth and Foundation Director Deke Whitbeck for their service to the commission and all of the great work that they do. Thanks all. And I love that Austin also is doing double duty with his kids here because it's summer and they're all getting to come along. Our daughter Scarlett's here with us today too. Mostly we're excited to be here today, and I'm extremely excited about this announcement and pleased to announce my newest appointment to the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, Chris Caldwell, one of my oldest friends and closest colleagues. Chris, congratulations. When I say that Chris and I can trace our friendship back to the beginning, I mean it. Chris's dad, Rick, who is here with us today, was my dad's roommate at Ouachita Baptist University. He was the officiant at my parents' wedding, and he also helped perform my wedding as well. Rick and his wife, Jonelle, are two of my parents' best and closest friends. So our parents, frankly, didn't really give us a choice. Chris and I were going to grow up together whether we liked it or not. Luckily, we became fast friends. I learned a lot out at his family's farm in Saline County, where we've gotten more than one truck stuck in the mud, and our family spent too much time there together to count. Chris can be pretty rough around the edges. If you see him up at the state capitol, that's probably the understatement of the century. If you see him up at the state capitol, chances are he'll have dead raccoons or a deer in his truck bed. But thankfully, Chris was smart enough, and he married very well. His wife, Ashley, has become just as close of a friend as Chris. In fact, when I was making calls to some of the commissioners to give them a heads up, they actually thanked God that Ashley would be on Chris's side throughout this journey. As I think back to the major moments in our life, there are very few that haven't included Chris, and later Chris and Ashley. When Brian and I had our kids, they were there to help, and we returned the favor when he and Ashley had Harley and Amelia. They've helped us move multiple times. He was the political director for John Bozeman's first Senate campaign when I served as campaign manager. He and Ashley were among the first people I sent my book to when I left the White House, and they're among the first people we told that we were moving back to Arkansas. I trusted him with one of the biggest and most important tasks, and he ran my campaign for governor, and now he is one of my closest advisors as I serve in this role. He's been there on big days and small ones, whether, frankly, he was invited or not. Chris, I thought that when we moved into the governor's mansion, it would make it harder for you to barge into our house at all hours of the day, but you still managed to do it. We can smell cigar smoke, and we know that you're there. Chris isn't a guy who takes himself too seriously. In fact, we always jokes that he makes an entrance, even when he doesn't intend to. But underneath the jokes and the fun, he is one of the kindest, most generous men I know. One of the proudest moments, Harley, is when you shot your first deer. And I know that because I have a video, and all you can hear is Chris screaming and hollering and cheering you on. I know that he is proud to serve our state, our region, and our country, just as he did in the Trump administration as the chairman of the Delta Regional Authority. And in case Chris hasn't told you, he was unanimously confirmed by the U.S. Senate for that role. And I know that Chris loves to give back. He hosts Army Rangers at his deer camp every year just to show his appreciation for their service. I've been honored to attend and meet those guys, standing alongside Chris to thank some of our nation's finest and show off some of Arkansas's great hunting. Chris is one of my closest friends, but I'm not appointing him to this commission because he's my friend. I'm appointing him because I know how much he loves Arkansas, how much he adores hunting and fishing and the Arkansas way of life, and how hard I know that he will work every single day in this job. More than that, I'm appointing Chris to this commission so that every kid in Arkansas can shoot their first deer with their dad cheering in the background, can learn how to hunt and fish like I did, and can make a lifelong friend in Arkansas's outdoors like the one that I have found in Chris Caldwell. Chris, thank you for your service and your friendship, and congratulations. I know you're going to be amazing.
Thank you, Governor. I normally don't prepare remarks. I just kind of go off the cuff, and so I did today. Matter of fact, a lot of the staff was joking today is the day that Chris, learned how to use ChatGPT. So here goes. But Governor, I do want to thank you so much, you and Brian as well. Your friendship means so much to me and my family, and it's such an honor to get to work for you. I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Ashley, my number one hunting buddy, Harley, my daughter, Amelia. Really special to be in this room because if you notice, there's a sign over here that says, hey, trout will confuse fingers for food. And when she was about 2.5 or 3, I heard this screech in this room. I was over here with my son, and I looked just in time to see a trout latched on to her finger. And so it's kind of special to be here. My parents, Rick and Jonelle Caldwell, thank you for paying and fostering my love for the outdoors. And my in-laws, Greg and Cammie Jones, thank y'all so much for being here as well, and to countless friends. When I look back through our lifetime of friendship, Governor, it's a lot of it has been spent outdoors, as you referred to. And I think of the times of taking our families hiking together, getting almost stuck in Jasper in a cabin in a snowstorm for what seemed like an eternity, to even 2 boat parades, which I think we've agreed we're not going to do any more of. But we spent a lot of time outdoors. And so I've got to see you and the First Gentleman's love for Arkansas and the outdoors firsthand. Matter of fact, the worst duck hunt I've had last season was with Brian. I think neither one of us pulled the trigger, and that's been the first time I've been skunked in a while. But getting to serve our state, getting to serve you has been one of the greatest honors of my life, and I look forward to continue doing so in this role, especially getting to help support the men and women of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. I think they are often just underrepresented of how important a role they play in preserving such world-class public hunting and fishing facilities. And so this is an honor and such a responsibility that I do not take lightly, and I count it an honor to get to support y'all in that role. I want to say a special thank you to outgoing Chairman Stan Jones and Jan, both of you. You all have been so gracious to me and my family over the last few years, particularly the investment you've shown in my son and the care and the graces and letting us come up and hunt. And y'all are just such an epitome of class, and the love that y'all have for Arkansas, you can't spend more than 30 seconds and not know. So I want to thank you both for the service that y'all have provided. It is such big shoes to fill. It is daunting, and I want you to know that I'm going to do everything I can to make you proud, Stan. I also feel so fortunate to get to serve amongst such an amazing group of people, from JD, Amory, Rob, Philip, Bill, and BA. You know, I count it, I was just telling Chairman Neely a minute ago, I feel very unique that the fact that I've gotten to know all of you individually and through different facets over the last few years. And so I'm so honored to join this fraternity, but also to get to learn from y'all's wisdom and y'all's all unwavering service for our state and for the hunters and anglers of this state. You know, it's one of these things as I think back to earlier today of, you know, how long have I been aware of this commission. It was a young age, and people like Craig Campbell or Whit Stevens, George Dunklin, these titans that have served in this role. And so it is very daunting to now have my name amongst those. And so I just want to thank all of you. Thank you, Mr. Dunklin, who've served in this, and you've been such an insightful inspiration to me, and I hope to make you all proud. You know, I've spent over 40 years, I'll be 46 in October, of hunting and fishing along the public lands and waters of Arkansas. And so many of my core memories come from public lands. The first pintail I killed on the banks of the Cache River, to turkey hunting in White Rock, to surviving many countless opening mornings at Weddington and Fayetteville. If you've ever been there on opening morning, it's like Grand Central Station. Skipping school to go shoot wood ducks in Harris Break. My senior year, I don't think I made on the last turn, I don't think I made an 8 o'clock class in my senior year of high school because we were, but also, you know, one I was thinking of this weekend, I was with my younger brother who served in Afghanistan, and I can remember it's been some time because I was in the shape to walk into Lower Valier and taking a phone call from him in Afghanistan to tell me that it was okay. And I remember where I was, and I remember, you know, the weather, every last bit about that moment, and it all happened on Arkansas public lands. And I feel that we have a responsibility, all Arkansans, but particularly the commission and the staff, to preserve and conserve that future for future generations. Over the last few years, I've kind of shifted from a hunter to a guide. I've got one client, his name's Harley Caldwell, and my focus has been, you know, hunting with him. And I only got a few years to still before I set him loose. And I think it's very important that we must focus on this next generation of outdoorsmen and conservationists to teach them about these opportunities. And that is probably one of the greatest things as a father that I've gotten to do, is spend time with both of my kids. I'll go ahead and say it now, Amelia is probably the better fisherman. She's, but getting to spend time outdoors and on our public lands has been so, bring to this a commitment to continuing to preserve that for all Arkansans. I'll say in closing that I think that a lot is made of these appointments, and rightfully so, but I want to say that the men and women of this agency that provide all of this are the key to preserving our assets. And I've got the opportunity to hunt in several states across Arkansas, across the nation, and Arkansas has world-class facilities, a world-class commission, and it's something we should all be proud of. So with that said, I want to thank you very much, Governor, commissioners, and everybody who's made this possible, and God bless Arkansas.
I'd like to say welcome to everybody, and Governor, First Gentleman, Commissioners, Director Booth. Glad everybody's here. I see a lot of friends and a lot of people out in the audience. I'd like to call all of your names. I know a lot of people that's here, and thank you for coming. Chris, absolutely tickled to death for this appointment. Couldn't be a better appointment. This is a great day for Arkansas. You can tell by all the people here how important this is. This is a great day for Arkansas. When I first came here 7 years ago, I was a private landowner. And for me to kind of go to work for a state agency was really something different. When you're a private landowner, in 10 seconds, I can make a decision. I don't have to run something up the ladder and down the ladder. 10 seconds, and I've made a decision. And we figured out how to not kick the can down the road. I see Bobby Martin is sitting there, and Bobby was a big part of this as well. But when I first came here 7 years ago, there was times it took 2 years to get something done. Today, we can talk to Austin, and within 10 to 15 minutes, we've got this done. I mean, between the commissioners and Director Booth, it doesn't take 2 years anymore. We are accomplishing a lot more things a lot faster just because we don't kick the can down the road anymore. That's one of the things I'm most proud of with our agency. We are heading in the right direction with Garrick Duggar as private lands. This is an area that all of us in Arkansas need to focus. Things have changed. If you circle Stuttgart, DeWitt, Gillette 20 years ago, before duck season, you'd see a lot of flooded fields. You don't see that anymore. Farmers can't afford to pump up fields for their friends and their families. They don't do it. We're losing our smorgasbord. We're losing our resting areas. Someday you're going to wonder why ducks are not coming here. Garrett Duggar, you got a lot of work to do with private lands, and it's a huge, huge thing that you can do for the game and fish in what you're doing. In farming, the name of the game is to outproduce your neighbor. If you outproduce your neighbor, you'll stay in business, and your neighbor will go out of business. That's just the way it is. Outproduce your neighbor. Duck hunting is not much different. The bar is raised every year. In deer hunting, I don't want to leave out deer hunting or turkey hunting, but duck hunting, the bar is raised every year. There's an old saying, if I do business this year like I did business last year, I won't be in business next year. And that's the way it is. Duck hunting is changing constantly, and we have to change with it. There's a guy from Columbia, Missouri, Brock Holloway. And he's been to my lodge 7 years in a row, 8 maybe, and he quit coming. And so we became kind of friends. Brock, I hadn't seen you in a while. And he said, I kind of watched what you was doing, and I started doing the same thing here right north of Columbia. And I said, well, what'd you do? And he said, well, I took an excavator, and I made a levee around an 80-acre field, planted it in corn. He said, I don't have to go duck hunting anywhere. I've got ducks by the thousands. J.P. Morris, John Paul Morris, Johnny's son, hunted at my lodge a lot. He asked me to come up to Clinton, Missouri. That's right there south of Truman Lake. And J.P. don't come anymore. J.P.'s got a great place to hunt. Other places are doing things that we've never had done before. And if we don't wake up, we're going to settle for mediocrity. If we don't wake up and start doing things better privately, and that's why I call out Garrick Duggar's name, so much can be done privately that's not being done. At the Game and Fish, we can just do so much, and that's it. There are other states that have WMAs that are on the permit system. Not very many hunters each day. Their success rate is great. The hunters are happy. I think we've got a lot of work to do in our WMAs. We can make our WMAs better. We can make our WMAs better for ducks. We can make our WMAs better for the hunters that hunt them. In closing, I want to tell you the story about 12 dogs. I believe it's 12 dogs. They're all pheasant dogs. I raised these dogs, taught them to hunt with every one of them, know exactly their personality, know which one will lick me on the cheek, and know which one don't even want to be close to me. Some of them are high-spirited, and all they want to do is hunt. Some of them want to be loved on. I know these dogs greatly. It's my responsibility to take care of these dogs every day. So in the past, had a guy that took care of the dogs, fed them every morning, cleaned out their pen, gave them water, and came and exercised them in the afternoons. So he goes to Branson with his girlfriend and didn't tell me, didn't tell Jan, didn't tell anyone. And so I go by the kennels on day 2, and I'm telling you, it was embarrassing at what those dogs had done in each of their kennels. I couldn't even get in to get a dog, to get him out. No water, and looked like a 5-gallon bucket of food in each. I mean, he overfed them. He gave them plenty of food. I'll say that. I couldn't stand it. It really hurt me when I saw, God has given me these dogs, and I have a responsibility to take care of these dogs. You've got dogs at home, Anne-Marie. You have a responsibility. You got a little girl at home. You got a responsibility. Well, if I'm going to take care of these 12 dogs, I need to take care of them. And in Arkansas, commissioners, we have deer, ducks, elk, quail, turkeys, rabbits, squirrels, bass, trout, crappie, catfish, turtles, snakes, trees, rivers, creeks, farmland, lakes, and WMAs. All of that I just named you is a lot to take care of. And you know what? This is not DFNA's job to take care of this. This is not the Parks and Tourism. It's not. This is not the senator's job to take care of this. This is not the legislator's job to take care of this. This is Arkansas Game and Fish and the commissioners. That's whose responsibility it is to take care of this. JD, Anne-Marie, chairman and vice chairman, this is what you were appointed for, is to take care of Arkansas. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Stan. And y'all see why we had such a great commissioner in Stan Jones. His passion for Arkansas and everything about Arkansas. He mentioned from crocodiles and gators in South Arkansas to the wonderful trout fishing in North Arkansas. We are blessed here in the natural state to have such a diverse community of plants and animals, and that is certainly our charge. Governor, first gentleman, thank y'all again for this great day and allowing us to gather here. This is a time-honored tradition to be here in the Whit Stevens Jr. Nature Center, where, as I call it, we hand off the baton from the outgoing chairman to the newest commissioner. And Chris, we couldn't be more proud to bring you into this group. It's former commissioners George Dunklin over here to my right and former Commissioner Bobby Martin. Thank y'all for your service to this commission. There is a time that passes. We always say once a commissioner, always a commissioner, because each one of us come alongside the agency for a while. We're on this, I call it the train ride, but we're on it for 7 years, and we get to come alongside the men and the women of this great agency, all 650 employees, and get to work with them to help conserve the plants, the animals, everything that we have in this great natural state in what we call conservation. And then there's a time that we depart. And this handing off of the baton that we do today is, again, a tradition that we honor, and we welcome Chris on as the next commissioner. Chris, you're coming along at a great time. As Stan mentioned, this is, we call ourselves the Kick the Can crew. We have taken on, over the last 6 years of my time on this commission, we've taken on tough subjects. This commission has been dedicated to do what it takes to make our WMAs better, to make our fishing better, whether it be renovate Lake Conway. So we have tackled tough subjects. We're not going to kick the can. We're going to do what's best for Arkansas. and always, always put the natural resource first. So you couldn't come along at a better time. Also, looking out at Director Booth, we have got, in my opinion, one of the best directors that this agency has ever had. With his leadership, we are plowing ahead with straightforward precision focus. We've got the Natural State Tomorrow plan that is a 5-year plan that we are implementing, and we are laser focused to make sure that happens. If you want to ask me what we're focused in on this year of the 24-25 year for the game and fish, it's Natural State Tomorrow. Then from another standpoint, we are going to embark with strong leadership that's already in place. As mentioned, Garrett Duggar in private lands, Mary Beth in education. We've got one of the best staff that we've ever had in all spots of this agency. So again, you're coming along at a great time. Chris, when I heard that you received this appointment, I can't tell you how excited I was for you. And I've already got to visit and meet Ashley and welcome to y'all and to your families. As I told Ashley, and just before we got out here, we become family in this. We, as commissioners, our families, we enjoy the service that we have, and so we welcome y'all, each one of us, into this community of service. I just close with kind of as Director Booth often says, it's time to roll up your sleeves. And next week you go to work. And as Austin always says, we'll see you in the field. With that, we are officially wrapped up for today. On behalf of all the commissioners, the director, the governor, first gentleman, we thank y'all each for coming today. And with that, we are adjourned.